interviewing Rick and Janet Cronk on March 27th. And however you wish to respond is fine. I find sometimes we go through the questions and people will cover more than one in one response. So however you are comfortable to speak. I haven't done two folks at once before, so we'll see how that
really?
how that goes. Okay. We'll start at the beginning of our list of questions, and they are the personal ones, asking what are your first best childhood memories of libraries? And one Montclair, one Palo Alto, right?
Right. I grew up in Palo Alto in the 1940s and 50s, and they had a very small library next to a very big park, Rinconada. And my twin sister and I rode our bicycles weekly. We loved the library. It was definitely so much a part of our lives.
That's great.
And in my case, I grew up in Montclair, in Oakland, California, and next to the Montclair Elementary School, there was the world's most attractive, cute, looked like a gingerbread house, very small library, just beautiful building. And it was a place where people gathered. It was such a pretty place.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
And I think it's still there. It's a
it's a
Hansel and
Yeah.
Gretel type.
No, it's
building.
still there.
Oh, lovely.
It's definitely still there.
Yeah. And so reading was important to both of you as you were growing up, would you say?
Oh, very much so. Not to you.
Well,
Rick was
Well,
really
Janet
more
favorite.
active.
Okay.
I-
And did you have favorite childhood books? Favorites?
I actually have had such fun because of this questionnaire. I went to the internet, to Amazon and Wikipedia, and just to look up some of these old books. My sister and I read the Little Maid series of Vermont, of Little Maid of Connecticut, which were all about the Revolutionary War.
Yes.
And of course we did Nancy Drew and Cherry Ames, and went on to Edna Ferber. And at Amazon you can read the front and back page of these books, and it was like going back to my childhood. It was fun.
Great. So that was fun.
It was great fun.
Do you have any
I really don't.
recollections?
I don't think I read in earnest until I had to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Typical boy.
high school.
Yes, yes.
I just played baseball and I did a lot of stuff. But
Camping,
read,
Scouts.
And you both grew up semi-locally then. Palo Alto's obviously part of the Bay Area, and Montclair's a little closer to where we are now. It says here, asks, what awareness of community did you have while growing up? Any awareness of your community?
Your turn.
Yeah, Montclair is truly a neighborhood.
Indeed.
Relatively small.
Indeed.
And so everybody there, and it's a little tiny shopping area. So there was a clear sense of LaSalle Avenue and Montclair. It was just, it was unique unto itself, and really sort of an island. I mean, you had to travel some distance to get, over to Park Boulevard or other parts of Oakland. So there was a definite sense of intimacy.
I think that's the beauty of smaller communities.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing to have that awareness. Palo Alto's a larger city.
Oh, but at that time it was still small, and I was third generation, so everybody in Palo Alto knew our family. And I remember politics. I remember a parade with Woodies, with Eisenhower and Stevenson, and it was definitely a small town.
It's a wonderful memory, I would say. Educational backgrounds and work experience. What can you tell us?
Oh, well, I'm sorry I missed that one. I did.
Educational background.
Well,
And any work experience.
well, I went to schools in Palo Alto and graduated from Castellea in the 60s, and went to Cal Berkeley, and I have a BA from Berkeley.
We both went to Berkeley, both met at Berkeley.
Yeah.
Children have gone to Berkeley,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you were born, and lived in Montclair, and you went to Berkeley, and you live in Contra Costa County, you have not exactly seen the world, but that's all right. I graduated from Berkeley in the business school and spent 30 years growing an ice cream company from a neighborhood business to the biggest ice cream company in America.
Indeed.
Somebody had to make ice cream.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay. What attracted you to Lafayette, and how long?
Well, we looked at houses. Rick was working in the city. We looked at houses in San Mateo, and the one we liked was $49,000. And the one we bought in Contra Costa County was $38,000, and it was pure economics. And then we just love that Lafayette is country and La Miranda, but in those days you were truly 25, 30 minutes to get to San Francisco, even with a tunnel. It was, and there are days we can still do that, but not very many.
Very few, yeah. If we define goals of a community as a place of mutual support, shared values, and acceptance of differences, how do you see Lafayette meeting those goals?
I think Lafayette is pretty strong in that regard. I mean, the library, in a way, is a perfect example of that. I mean, I think there is a sense of community and a sense of responsibility. So I find Orinda, Moraga, Lafayette, all three communities and all three together as one larger, gathering. I think people are proud of this. Proud to live in Lafayette. People go to Diablo Foods and won't shop anyplace else. Little things like that. But
it's true. It's true.
But there is diversity in Lafayette. Maybe not as much ethnic as we would like, but we've met so many people through just the library functions that because our children are older and we're not in the school community anymore. Mm-hmm. And we've met all ages and just all types of wonderful people are
interested
that
in
have
library
and because it's our community of Lafayette.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any early memories of the old library or the present library?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure.
Only that it was cramped. I've only been in it a few times, but it was so cramped and so.
Yes.
We were desperate.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely, for a long time.
Yeah.
When we moved here, our youngest, well, he was in kindergarten. But it was kind of a dismal place to walk into, and the parking was terrible, and the Happy Valley Library was great. So
you use that more probably.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Asking how do you feel a library serves the community?
I think the library will be one of the central gathering places of Lafayette, not only because of a library as a source of books, but as a learning center and the expanded, relationships that the library is going to have with
the consortium.
Yeah, it's just fabulous. So I think that the speakers that they'll have, the classes that will be conducted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a learning opportunity and a place of learning and joy way beyond just access to borrowing books. But
I think so too. I think it's extremely exciting. So you've been involved in this process that's asking here over the years, or how long have you been involved with the library project, and what might be some of your experiences there?
Well, we haven't been involved too directly. We've gone to numerous functions that have been organized that have been wonderful.
Mm-hmm. When did you get your arm twisted?
Yes, good question. Good question.
But it's only been a couple of years.
Weren't we the first guinea pigs, philanthropically?
Well,
Is
we
that right?
might have
I
been.
think we might have.
After the Seberg family, I think we were approached early on for a major gift, which we really hadn't intended. But the presentation, the consortium, was such a well thought out idea for one building to be more than just a library.
Yeah. Pretty hard to
So
resist.
we're happy to
Yeah.
help out.
Any other community events, projects, organizations that you've been involved with?
Oh, well, it's been so many years, but
Probably too
all,
many to
you
mention.
know,
I know Rick and the
Happy
Boy
Valley
Scouts.
School, Stanley, Akalani's,
Sure.
Scouts.
Sure.
Rick has
Yeah.
been very involved in Scouts.
Indeed, yes. My own son can attest to that. And getting specific about the library, who are the people involved in the 96 study? Do you know, and what the results of this study might be, or what the responders want? Are you familiar with that at all? Maybe not.
No, I don't know what.
Or who was on the Vision Task Force? You probably may not know that either.
I know I'm only more recently involved. Kathy Merchant, I knew before, but now she's a very good friend, and she's the kind of person you see on your caller ID and you go, oh, do I want to answer this? But you do, because she's such a tireless worker.
She is.
And she's very quick, and I think she's done a great job.
Yeah.
And Gwen Lennox is someone who I never knew before. She's younger, has younger children. She lives in another part of Lafayette, and it's been great working with her and Appert here in Happy Valley. But that's, again, only been in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Question of opinion, what do you think created the change from the limited number of people named as contributors to the larger group that finally came forward?
Well, again, I think it's the genesis is some level of commitment to the community. This drives a lot of that, and I'm sure that as names were added, as people began to, the number of people that contributed to the project grew. There are a lot of people who just said, "Why not? I guess I should." Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's the fundamental motivation was this is Lafayette and the library is important.
Yeah.
It'll be important for the next 50 to 100 years. So.
And back to the question from the president, why is the new library important to you? We didn't mention we have 3 grandchildren that are in the Lafayette schools, 10, 8, and 6. And they're prolific readers, and they need a library that has parking.
Absolutely, yeah. You may not know how the idea for the Learning Center and the consortium came about. You may or may not, I don't know.
I'm sure in the
that.
presentation but we weren't really involved at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And you probably didn't know then also how the library obtained those consortium members.
Well, I think just by being creative and people in Lafayette are involved in all these different organizations. I mean, we're very involved at Cal.
There's a lot to be involved with. There's a lot going on.
Right.
Yes.
So
we're very lucky, actually.
I think it's called networking.
Yeah, that's true.
Connect.
That's true. So can you say why the new library is important to you? Well, you already said grandchildren for one. And
grandchildren, and that it has parking, and that it's going to be a fun place to gather. I think they're wise to have the little cafe, have coffee and read a book, and a pretty social spot. People
great.
are social.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did you want to participate in its development? That's a personal question.
Well, I think we.
You may already have
yes,
answered
I
that.
think,
yes.
yes.
Okay. How did you first get involved? Well, you've told us that. But what have you most enjoyed throughout this experience, this participation?
just getting to know our community a little better, especially since, as I said, we're past the school age years. I belong to the Happy Valley Garden Club, and we do a few other things, but really...
It's different when your children grow up and leave home, yes. I have the same experience. Any obstacles that you encountered or observed along the way of this development of the plan?
I mean, from an outsider's perspective, in that neither of us are involved in specific committees or whatever, but from the outside it seems to have been fairly smooth. I've been, among the people I've been impressed with, what is the name of the Lafayette city manager?
Oh,
yeah.
Steve Falk. Yeah, Steve Falk, yeah.
He was present at every event or has been present at every event that we've been a part of. I mean, his commitment to the success of this has just really been wonderful. Yeah. And when the group went to Sacramento to get some funding that was very important early on, he was an integral part of that. And he's a cheerful fellow. He's a real asset to Lafayette.
That's what it takes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just mentioned really a particular personality that stood out.
And Kathy Merchant, you just
Kathy
have
Merchant.
to give her credit.
Okay. Can you elaborate what was the most fun or the most rewarding? Any more than already you've said, do you think? Any particular experience that you recall? No? Okay. Here's a good question. What values did this contribution touch that you hold dear and why?
Well, there's simply, all parents would understand this, or most parents would understand this, but there's simply nothing more important in the face of the earth than the education of children, of adults as well. But I mean, that's just obviously the most fundamental need there is.
I say, if you don't have education, you have nothing as a
Exactly.
country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we are fortunate to live in a community where the schools are very good, and once again, the whole library presence just continues the journey of learning. After the kids are in high school, again, they're sort of all over the map or moving or keeping up with the pace of life. But the library is a place that people can return to, and it will be important to them throughout their lives.
And I think it's great that it has so many uses, that the town council meetings are going to be there, that people can rent the gathering room. It's the Manzanita room and St. Mary's Road is for us on the other side of Lafayette. I think it's nice that it's centrally located.
Yes, that's right.
And again, that there's parking.
Yes. Have you noticed any kind of transformation in Lafayette as a result of this project going forward?
It's been fun to watch the building itself. It's
Indeed, yes.
sort of remarkable.
It is remarkable,
Yeah.
and it seems to keep getting bigger. I know the framework has been there forever, but as the walls go up, it becomes very imposing. Yeah.
I mean, as Janet said, obviously it's so central. It's right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So everybody has to have, is aware of its presence. And it will be fun to watch it grow. It really, truly may be the one most important gathering place of the city. That and Starbucks.
I agree. Is there anything that is particularly exciting to you about the new library? Did any ideas, words, activities particularly draw your attention?
Well, again, our grandchildren, I look at that huge space that is for the children with the Big Dipper and the back wall and the outdoor area that is spacious. And I can't wait to be there with our grandchildren.
Well, it's a creative plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Utilizing indoor, outdoor, and all of that together for, I think, to the optimal
And that,
use.
you know, to have a separate area for teens to
Mhm.
gather.
Important.
Yeah.
And the green fireplace. I
The green
think
fire.
Oh, you must
a
have
creative
that
idea. One of our children.
Why do you think the citizens of Lafayette have responded so enthusiastically to this project?
Well, I think it's the reason people work so hard to pass parcel taxes, and we're here because we value the schools and education, and I think that's the common denominator.
And a little bit looking into the future, is there an outcome that you hope for most with the new library? What do you look toward to using, doing, enjoying the most as it becomes complete and open for use?
Well, I look forward to going back to the library again, because I used to go to our library for books on tape, and the parking was so difficult, and the hours were not
yes.
standard, and you never knew if
Yes.
it was open or not.
Yes.
And so I look forward to getting back into the habit of going to the library.
Interesting question, this next one. Some people predicted the internet would kill the printed word and libraries would become obsolete. How will our new library avoid such a fate?
Oh, you always have to have hands-on education, and exhibits, storytelling hour is always going to be. Even if you did it, as you say, from your Kindle, you'd gather in the library to have stories hour for children.
Well, and there will be 30 computers, and the consortium is going to bring in all of those wonderful adventures,
And the lab rooms that they have.
And the lab rooms?
It's just so well thought out.
all encompassing.
It's going to be a fabulous venue for speakers. There's just nothing that will even compete with it. So I suspect that beyond just the 8 or 9 members of the consortium, it's just going to, and isn't the, what's the San Francisco Speakers Club?
Oh, Commonwealth Club.
The Commonwealth Club is going to have events there, but I suspect that lots of people will find themselves in the library for an evening speaker.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. Close to home in
Yeah.
these days of so much
Mhm.
traffic and
Right.
difficulty getting around.
Yeah.
Wonderful to have it close to home. Is there anyone else that you think we should contact for an interview?
Oh, I think your list is very, very large, and you've involved the community.
Have I left anything out that you would like to include, or any final thoughts from either of you, both of you?
No. Excuse me. No.
No, this is fun. This is actually going to look forward to seeing how this becomes useful.
Mhm.
And it would be great to capture the history of Lafayette at this point in time as expressed through the library project.
Exactly, and
It'll be interesting.
that's the
Yeah,
purpose. So,
yeah, it's great.
yeah, fills up our archives with
Huh.
some more wonderful
Stuff.
detail. Yeah, that's great.
I hope that when people walk through the door, there's going to be something that will catch their attention
Yeah.
and they'll pause and hear either see you and hear
Yeah.
your quote or see something else that's part of it.
And I cannot wait to see that 2-story bronze sculpture of the books and the pages flying
Oh.
that goes
Oh.
up
Very
the
cool.
staircase.
Oh,
I can't wait to see it.
well, the reason for the photographs is, as Barbara describes, for people, capture people's interest as they come in, and we will choose a quote from among your many here, and that will be there as well. Thank you
Well,
so much for your time.
You never
and
really
your
even checked to
openness
see that
share
both
with
of
us.
this
Just
is,
press the